And so she sat down next to me and we started chit chatting back and forth. And she said, I used to be a first responder. I pivoted, I got married, I went into a different business. And then during COVID, because I was in the restaurant business, we had to shut down the restaurants. So my husband at the time and I, we started traveling across the country and we bought a van and we were traveling all over the place during COVID. During that trip, my husband, who was already kind of abusive, in a way, but not physical, on this van trip across the country, became very physically abusive. And she was like, I don't know if you remember the story of that girl, Gabby Petito, but I was in the same area as her when that occurred. And I realized that he was probably going to kill me like that guy killed Gabby Petito. And I said, this is going to get really uncomfortable in a second. And I reached into my bag and I usually keep like, we have the little bracelets and stuff. And then we have like these challenge coins and things. And I took out a bracelet and I took out a coin and I said, I want to give this to you. I said, Gabby is my daughter. And she like stopped and looked at me and she was like, stop it. And I was like, no, I'm not. That's my daughter. And she starts crying like in this airport, middle of this bar restaurant. And now everybody's looking. And she was like, you have no idea what this means at this moment right now. I was living in Virginia when all that was occurring. She was like, I finally got out. I was finally able to get divorced. She said, I moved away. I moved across the country. This morning, before I left for the airport, my ex husband found me and he was begging me to come back and telling me all the things I wanted to hear. And he was going to get help and he was going to do better and he wasn't going to be abusive anymore. And he wasn't going to do all of these things to me anymore. And he begged me not to leave. And she said, the entire way to the airport, I was crying, asking God for a sign. Please give me a sign. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused right now. And then I walked into this airport and I sat down next to you, the only open seat in this entire restaurant. And I think I got my sign. And I said, can I ask you a question? She said, absolutely. I said, what are you going to do?
Yep.
She said, I'm going to get on that freaking plane.